Welcome to Freed on Business. He grew up in South Florida, has been in business here since the early 90s, and has closed over $3 billion in deals. He's seen it all. He always has an opinion, and he's always ready to share it. Informed, entertaining, and connected, he has his finger on the pulse of South Florida's business community. He's Jim Freed, and this is Freed on Business.
Oh boy, is it ever. We're going to talk about great business. We're going to talk about the business that's coming to the state of Florida. In one word, it's jobs. We talk about it. We call it cannabis. We call it hemp, THC, CBD. We're going to talk about all those topics today. And the main thing that comes out of it is health, wellness, and jobs. We've got an incredible group of experts for you. We've got Derek Thomas, senior executive from Veritas. Derek is on our show on a regular basis. I asked him to come back because we use his products regularly at home. We've got Michelle Weiner on. Dr. Michelle is on the state board of doctors that oversees the cannabis thing. She'll say it better than I just did. She sells the Veritas products in her office. Why did I bring Veritas and Dr. Michelle on today? Because they're in my wife's medicine chest. And of course, we've got our old friend Manny Johnson back to set the baseline for us from an agronomist standpoint and a scientist standpoint. Welcome, everybody, to the show today. It's going to be one great edition of Freed on Weed. Now, we're going to get started right after we sell some cars for Warren Henry, so stick with us. We'll be right back talking about how you can get healthier and better wellness with CBD and how the state of Florida is going to get thousands and thousands of jobs. Back after this. Right, everybody. As you know by now, we are South Florida's #1 longest running business talk show. We've been at it since 2008. I still haven't gotten it right. Our sponsors for most of that period of time have been our friends at Warren Henry. So if you get great information, thank the folks at Warren Henry. And remember, when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry, Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar here on their new store in Biscayne and 151st down in Key West. They've got all the brands. And when I want to get my Audi, I'm going to Gainesville for their store up there. What do they all have in common? Well, they're all great cars, and they come with the Warren Henry Advantage. That means you get a complimentary service loaner, dynamic wheel protection, key replacement, guaranteed purchase offer, and their best value guarantee. My favorite is the 72-hour guarantee. That means if you don't like the car, after 3 days, you can return it. Hey, join a whole bunch of my friends, my mom and my beautiful wife, Vivian, and of course me. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry. Team on our show, kindness, happiness, good energy. That's why we've got Manny Johnson, Derek Thomas, and Michelle Weiner on our show. Why I got Ray Mendoza piloting the thing, because we're all about good energy and helping people have a better day. If you're in real estate and you need to have a better day, call me, because real estate is driven by cash, and I have access to great cash. That's right. If you need a private loan for your home, or you need a Fannie Mae, Freddie Mae Freddie conforming loan, you need creative real estate financing, bridge loans, construction loans, condos, apartments, industrial, you name it. I've got money for it. And we're good people. Right now, we're acting as a white knight on a condo conversion that went sideways. Give me a call at 305-773-6300. Why? Because when you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
All right, we're back. Michelle, I'd like to unmute Michelle if possible now. There we go. I'm going to unmute Michelle. Dr. Michelle Weiner is a big shot on the board of cannabis up in Tallahassee. I don't know your real title, but why don't you stake it out a little bit, Dr. Michelle. Then I want to have Manny Johnson talk a little bit about what's going on in the cannabis industry, and then I want to get Derek Johnson on and thank him for the health and wellness that he brings to my house every day. Thank you, Derek, for that. I really appreciate that. Dr. Michelle, you were a resident at Jackson. You trained with my pain management doctors over there. So you've got great qualifications. And what's your role today in the state of Florida on this?
So I'm on the Medical Cannabis Advisory Committee through the Department of Agriculture. There's about 20 of us, and we make sure that everything that is, dispensed through the dispensary is actually lab tested. We have a bunch of advocates, attorneys, physicians, making sure that the medical cannabis program is safe and effective, and that we're listening to the patients. And there's different things that come up. There was an issue with mold on flour. That's something that we try to address. A lot of things are really under the Department of Health when it comes to setting certain rules about what medical conditions qualify for a card, or how many times you have to see the physician a year. So there's the combination of Department of Health and Department of Agriculture that really make up our program. And so the committee is a great committee. And then what I do on my day job is I'm a pain management physician, and I'm very involved in medical cannabis and using cannabis as a substitute for opioids and other medications, antidepressants, sleep meds, that kind of thing. So I'm at different places all throughout South Florida doing regular pain management and cannabis. And now I recently started doing ketamine-assisted psychotherapy, which is also very impressive and profound, very powerful experiences. So there's just a huge movement towards plant medicine, and a lot of people are really not being successful with Western medicine options. And so it's nice to have a medical legal program. And recently after the elections, more and more states have legal programs. And actually there was the MORE Act just passed about trying to decriminalize marijuana. And then even something recently last week, the UN recognized medicinal properties of cannabis. So we're making, a lot of noise, and that's because patients are actually getting better and using this to heal and prevent disease and improve their quality of life.
Well, we'll have to have another segment.
So I'm a big.
Go ahead. We'll have to have another segment with you talking about the psychoactive things that you're doing with, I think it was, you said ketamine. Manny, she opened up a very, very interesting venue. I know that one of the things that really concerns you is the quality, purity, and delivery of actual relief and medicine versus stuff that could be polluted or have pollution. I can't think of the right word. Contamination. Manny, talk about that, because Michelle talked about how they found some contaminated flour that caused some problems earlier in the state. What do you think we need to be doing about that stuff?
Well, we need an adequate regulatory system, and it's not just Florida. There isn't a state in the United States. I would say Colorado probably is the most efficiently regulated, but that's because it's the oldest, and it's got more dispensaries than it has Starbucks. So there's a tremendous amount of money coming into it. One of the things I have been in this since my partners and I got the very first medical marijuana license in the state of Colorado, in Denver. Okay, so I've been in it since the beginning. Huge proponent for it. I've seen it with seizure disorder on children. It's amazing to watch a child. It's amazing to have 80-plus-year-old men who are stage 4 colon cancer. given suppositories of cannabidiol compounds. And within a few months, they stop, or a few weeks, they stop bleeding. A few months, the tumor is receding. So, I have personally watched. I've personally seen a tremendous amount of benefit with it. What worries me is the regulatory process. Like I said, as it gets bigger and bigger, it gets harder to regulate, and you can't let you can't let the producer of the product regulate it. It's got to be a independent third party, and it really should be the state. I mean, the state of Florida's got two great universities: University of Florida, University of our Florida State University, that has some of the best labs in the world. They could help with that. Florida's got a great department or division of plant industry that has very, very, very well qualified inspectors that could go out and regulate these places.
Manny, I want to talk now with Derek, because Derek and Veritas are the end result. They are, they test. Well, Derek, you go ahead, talk about that. Before we do, I want to say I use their stuff all the time. My massage therapist loves it. And we actually asked him back today because my wife has their CBD pills in her medicine cabinet. Derek, thanks for helping my wife get better. Thank you so much. It really does help. It calms her down, makes her feel better. My back loves your stuff. So thank you. Let's talk about how pure and direct it is, and how scientifically you create your different compounds. And thank you again for coming on and bringing this stuff to us.
No, thank you, Jim. And, the feedback that we get from you and how it's helping your household, that's why we do what we do every day. So it's great. It's great to hear. And, it really fits in line with the anecdotal stories that we've been hearing for years, and this Manny show. And, what's interesting is we're touching on so many kind of important topics about testing and about quality. And consumers need to realize that, not only is it pervasive across all the states, but it's also pervasive across all cannabis product categories. So whether we're talking about a smokable recreational marijuana, or whether we're talking about a CBD tincture that you might find, in a major retailer, and ultimately stems from the lack of federal regulatory legislation that we have. But I think Manny has a great point that this can be done very well at the state levels, especially for states that have large, already existing agricultural infrastructure, like California, like Florida. So, at some point, I would suspect that if the FDA doesn't really get things going on the regulatory side, then you're going to start to see more states step up and create their own legislation. The only concern that we would have as a D2C brand around that would be that you end up with a 50 market kind of ecosystem instead of one national ecosystem, one national market. So we already deal with that in some marketplaces where the labeling requirements might be different in Indiana than they are in California, although labeling requirements are usually different in California. But that also extends to, other types of claims that you might be able to make on the product. So there definitely needs to be regulation. It just needs to be the right kind of regulation.
We're going to take a break right here. Then we're going to come back, and I want to start with Michelle and Derek talking about the way Michelle prescribes the products and why she offers them directly in her office. We'll be right back after this. Please stick with us. This is incredible content, and it's all about your wellness. Back after this. The music. I love the music. Derek's rocking out too. High five to Derek. Thank you, Regan, for keeping the show going. Remember, we're South Florida's longest running business talk show. And you can find us on Freedom Business, Cannabis.com, YouTube, all the streaming services. We're everywhere. I'm omnipresent. And remember, our sponsors, Warren Henry, have been with us for, 8-9 years now. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Larry. And thank you, Warren. And remember, when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry, Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar. Down in the Keys, they sell everything. Up in Gainesville, they've got a tremendous Audi store. What do all those places have in common? They all have great cars. They all come with the Warren Henry advantage. That means you get a complimentary service, loaner, dynamic wheel protection, key replacement, guaranteed purchase offer, best value guarantee, and the 72-hour exchange. You take 3 days to make sure you like your car. You will. Join a whole bunch of my friends, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian. Yes, even I am a member of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best service, always the best price, always Warren Henry.
Hey, this is Becca Carlson from Carlson Integrated. You know, a lot of our clients find that they can do anything, but not really everything. We are always excited to jump in and help. So whether you need another set of hands for a project or even comprehensive marketing management, our team of marketing mavens would love to have a conversation with you to see if we are the right fit. We do everything from logo and design work to email outreach and social media to writing and thought leadership. And here's a fun one. We are now offering our fabulous ebook of top 10 marketing tips on our website for free. So head over to carlsonintegrated.com and grab a copy today. And please always let us know how we can help. My email is Becca, that's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com. That's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com.
I'm Jim Freed, and I run this show. I have a great real estate practice where I help people, all of them. People call me and I help them. Some people call me, they need a residential mortgage. It's not really easy. Manny, watch your light there. Don't want you to get burned up. Well, you just saw it. I do business with friends. I give them love and kindness. They give it back. We do deals together. I solve problems for them. I help them make money. Sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it's not so easy. One of the things it always is fun and enjoyable. So give me a call. Let me help you solve your real estate challenges. Dial me up at 305-773-6300. Direct message me. Look at all our stuff. Join our ecosystem and just have a great time. And we'll make money together. Why call me? Because when you call me, it's all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
All right, we're back, and we're back with Manny Johnson's chair as he adjusts the light. Thank you, Manny. You look a lot better now. Very handsome. We have Derek Thomas on. He's always looking stout. And Michelle Weiner, who is the doctor in the house. Now, let's go back to Derek. Derek, you know, I have your pills right here. My wife was recommended them by Dr. Michelle. Okay, we love them. Dr. Michelle, why do you recommend Derek Thomas's products and why you keep them in your office?
That's so, honestly, I didn't even realize that you got to Derek through me. And I think that was because I was speaking to your wife recently. And what happened was she was using a dispensary that ran out of their CBD. And I explained to her that I happen to like Veritas Farms capsules because when I first started with them, I always look at something called the COA. The Certificate of Analysis tells you, like you were talking about earlier, the contaminants, the pesticides, that kind of thing. But it also tells you the cannabinoid profile and the terpenes. It gives the feel. So if you're going to be sleepy or have energy, that's the terpene. So the reason I use them is because when I check theirs and that allows me to tell the patient this CBD is better for you for sleep or better to relax, versus this one may be better for focus or daytime energy. And so I pick them based on their certificate of analysis and based on the terpene profile. And I think when people want to sleep and want to relax, sometimes they think they need THC, but if you have the right terpenes in them, then you don't need you don't need the THC. So that's why I started using them. And the good thing is that our Commissioner of Agriculture, Nikki Freed, that has this new rule as of January 2020. Anyone who sells CBD in the state of Florida has to get a permit through the Department of Agriculture. So now all the companies that were selling things that were less milligrams or anything that potentially was unsafe is not a possibility in Florida, which I like also. So they're a great company. The COAs are very accurate, and they have a lot of different options. They have topical creams, they have capsules, they have tinctures. So I offer CBD to almost every single patient who's trying to come to me for a medical marijuana card, and I educate them on the benefits of CBD, on the fact that it helps with anxiety, inflammation, but also can counteract some of the high, and a lot of people don't know that. And also the dispensaries right now, they're out of flower, they're out of one-to-one tinctures, they're out of CBD. So I explained to them that they can get CBD from a good hemp company without getting their card, and that's a big issue for people. Once they find their medicine, they want to stay with it, they want it to be consistent. So with Veritas, I have I love their capsules. They are great for sleep, they're great for daytime anxiety. Those are the ones that I recommend, but they have many other products as well.
That's great.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure. Before we get to Derek, you brought up security and the certificate. Derek, if you don't mind, I'd like to go to the agronomist and scientist to kind of explain that. Manny, there's, Dr. Michelle said that it's not really the THC to get high, and you and I talk about this all the time. We're hemp guys, not THC guys. But the different profiles of terpenes in the CBD products can change their impact. Now, I really wasn't, I take CBD all the time. For one thing, I had a problem in my knee, couldn't walk, took it, and within 10 minutes, I was feeling better. Why would that happen?
Well, it depends on what is added to the CBD. Like for pain or for a joint issue, it might be, you might find menthol. Something as simple as menthol might be helping with it. I'm not trying to push products, but I would tell you that we have over the years, when I say we, I work with 11 PhDs and 2 MDs, and we have 35-year retired professor emeritus scientists on our staff. When we run certificates of analysis, we not only give you the 2 or 3 page analysis, we go into the mold, the mildew, but we also ask the company that does the testing, we ask them for the computer program that came up with those results so that our scientists can see if they actually had the machine calibrated properly. And we have found that about 35% of the time, the machine's not even calibrated properly.
Where can they test stuff that's grown in Florida? Do they test it in Florida yet?
No, we're sending it off to companies in Massachusetts, Boston, Massachusetts. There's a foundation company, Proverti, and they have given us excellent results. I worked with the American Medical Association 4 years ago. And we went by 5 states, and we got 75 samples, and this was published in JAMA. And of those 75 the samples, we found that 85% of them did not contain what was on the label.
Let's go to Derek on that. Derek?
Well, Derek's product, one thing I would say is of the products that we have gotten randomly, and we'll get like a Veritas product, which we've tested. And we will take the labels off of them so the lab doesn't have any bias. And their products have been stellar. I will say that.
Well, there you go. That's why he's on the show. It took a year for Jury. I want to thank Jury Ross for bringing you on and helping us with all that. Thank you, Jury. I butcher everybody's name. Sorry. She was on the show and I did it the whole show. But Derek, talk about how your scientists come up with this, because they're doing research and development all the time. There's new breakthroughs and ideas that you come up with all the time. Tell me a little bit about your process and what you're learning.
Well, in terms of transparency and testing, for us, it really starts in the ground because we're fully vertically integrated. we're able to take a number of steps, whether it's in our growing SOPs or our testing SOPs, we're able to affect, a number of things that a lot of brands just aren't able to because they don't own their entire infrastructure. So maybe they're buying bulk oil. Sometimes they're buying formulated goods. And then at that point, they're just sending it off for kind of one final COA. However, we're testing the plant both internally and externally at multiple points of production, which starts in the ground. It starts with us testing it in the ground. And then we also have, of course, the Colorado Department of Agriculture. And then, we test from a bulk extraction, we test from bulk formulation, and then we test the actual commercialized finished good. I think what Manny just suggested with getting the computer codes from the labs is a fascinating idea. To be frank, it's one that we haven't considered, but I think that now I might let we have Dr. Daniel Connors. He's a PhD, formerly with the FDA. He heads up our research and development team. And I mean, he's just a cannabis wizard. But I'm definitely going to let him in on that insight. But what we do to kind of keep our labs honest is we test internally. We also use 3 different external labs, Pro Verde actually being one of them. And then we're always giving random products. Sometimes we'll test the same product with 2 or 3 labs. And we're always correlating those results together to keep everyone honest, to make sure the calibrations are at least somewhat standard. Again, that goes back to that state-by-state regulatory atmosphere that we have, where even testing standards aren't standardized. So those are some of the kind of broader precautions that we take to make sure that we're able to consistently deliver quality products that are what they say they are. And I just would have to emphasize how important it is not just to get the cannabinoid profile or all of the different cannabinoids that are in there, all of those different counts, but also the terpenes, but of course the mold, the pesticides, the fungicides and herbicides. A lot of people don't realize hemp is essentially a sponge, and it pulls many different types of chemicals and compounds out of the soil. It's a bioaccumulator. So it's really important to have a full panel COA. And I think anyone who isn't able to provide that on demand or making them readily accessible, you should question the efficacy and quality of their product.
Derek, you're tremendous, man. By the way, I want to get that guy on here with you and Manny one time and Michelle, and we should go to town. I really would love to hear real scientists talking English about what's coming down the pike. We're going to take a quick break. Then I want to build on what Derek said. It won't be too interesting to Michelle, but Manny's going to go to town as we talk about hemp. We'll talk about the implications of hemp coming to Florida, what it means for your health and wellness, and what it means for jobs and the economy of our state. We'll be back after this with some tremendous comments and content you're not going to want to miss. Reagan, Mr. Mendoza. Everybody, this is Jim Freed. It's South Florida's longest running talk show here for business on Freed on Business. We've been doing it since 2008. I just love being surrounded by my friends and great ideas. And I love bringing them to you to help you have a better day. Hey, and I want to thank our friends at Warren Henry for being our sponsors. They've been our sponsors since 2012. Thank you to Warren. Thank you to Larry. Thank you to Eric. And of course, thank you to Samantha as well. Hey, everybody, when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry, Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar here in their new store at 151st and Biscayne. It's awesome. Down in Key West, they've got a store carries all the different name brands. And up in Gainesville, they've got a tremendous Audi store. I love those Audis. They're so great. What do they all have in common? Well, they're all great cars, and they all come with the Warren Henry Advantage. That means you get complimentary service loaner, dynamic wheel protection, key replacement, guaranteed purchase offer, best value guarantee, and of course, a 72-hour exchange can take 3 days to decide whether or not you like the Warren Henry car. So join lots of friends that are members of the Warren Henry family, my wife, my mom, even me. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry. Kindness is big here on Freedom Business, and we let Dr. Michelle go because she's got clinics. She's going to help people get better. And after this break, we're going to be talking about hemp, jobs, and your wellness with two experts. It's going to be tremendous. You're going to get a glimpse into the future. But for now, let's talk about the present. Call me if I can help you with your real estate deal. I'm doing all kinds of residential mortgages for my friends. Jumbos, they're not easy to do. Call me. They take months sometimes. I'm also doing a lot of commercial bridge loans, doing the condo inventory loan, condo construction loan, apartment construction loan. It's just crazy. You got a deal that makes sense, I can help you finance it. So what should you do? You should give me a call or DM me or send me an email. Jim, JFR, well, you got my email. So call me, Jim at Freedom. Boy, am I messing this one up, guys. I haven't done this bad in so long. But you can call me at 305-773-6300. Why call me? Because when you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freedom Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freedom Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
Thank you so much for Dr. Michelle. She had to go back to clinic. She's going to go help some people. Thank you to Drew A. Ross for bringing us Derek Thomas, and thank you to me for Manny Johnson. Manny, thanks for being here. Derek is the senior executive at Veritas Farms. Everybody says that a different way. Derek, it's Veritas, right?
That's correct, Veritas, which means...
High five to me. All right. Now, we're going to talk about hemp. Derek was talking about how hemp is like a sponge. It pulls stuff out of the earth. Manny will tell you it's great to stop pollution, but what that does is it means you got to watch it all the time. So I want Manny to talk about how hemp evolves, and I want to talk about why that makes so much difference to Derek and the fact that they own their own farm. Manny, tell people what happens to hemp when it's moved around or it's not the right hemp for a different neighborhood.
Well, the idea with hemp is that hemp is in the cannabis family. That's marijuana and hemp, actually. They're both bioremediation products. That means they absorb everything from the growing media that they're in. So if they're being grown, we usually recommend, like with a farmer, if they're growing a large quantity, to do extensive soil analysis to prepare the soil for the plants and only grow in areas that are pristine or that they can control the soil, water, however it's being grown. It's being grown different ways now because of the value of the flower. You'll find that Chernobyl, they were using it in Russia to try to get rid of some of the radioactive materials. There's experiments going on around Lake Okeechobee with Big Sugar to get some of the pollution out of the lake there. Soil, whatever whatever growing media you're using, you have to control everything that goes in it. Okay,
that's a laydown for Derek. Derek, you guys talk about the fact that you're vertically integrated, that some of the people in your space import their stuff from China or something. Tell us a little bit about how you control the grow and what it means to your product's consistency, please. I'm so good at this.
For us, it really started by finding the right location, which, of course, 6 years ago, you're kind of relegated to just a couple of areas around the country. So it actually may not be our first choice today. We grow in the high desert of Colorado. However, more important to us at the time was what had been previously occurring on the land. We didn't want to move into a place that had been heavily sprayed or had some type of industrial use to it. So we bought raw cattle land. And we tested the soil for multiple different types of contaminants. And that was kind of the first measure that we took. And henceforth after, everything that we use on the farm is either 100% OMRI certified organic or is made on the farm. So we actually make our own compost. We practice what's called integrated pest management, which is, you can think of spice bombs, chickens, and ladybugs instead of glyphosate and herbicides and fungicides. Right. So there's so many unique and innovative opportunities for hemp to be grown in such a natural way. It does not require a lot of pesticides and harsh chemicals and even fertilizer. It's a very diverse crop. It has so many different subsets of it genetically that you can really find a cultivar that's appropriate for what you're trying to do with the plant, as well as the climate that you're trying to grow in. Now, the science is a little bit behind on all of the learning that can take place there. And that comes from a century of prohibition. But, with the right people on your team and, you have some good, smart people, you can kind of figure out pretty quickly what you need to do to be successful wherever you are, without leaning into all of the, harsh synthetic type of chemicals.
That's tremendous. You play right back into Manny. Manny, I don't even have to say a word. Please comment on that.
Well, I think that, what Derek is saying, being vertically integrated is really the ideal model. Okay. I believe that Florida is going to be the epicenter for hemp for the United States for sure.
Why?
Well, because we have the sunlight we have, the rainfall that we have, the high humidity can create some problems, but we've got some of the best farmers in the world.
Now, would I be growing the same type of hemp in the Redlands in Dade County as I'd be growing outside of Tampa, as I might be growing up by the state line? Would it all be the same hemp?
No, there's really we have defined and we have tested. There's three basic regions in Florida. Okay, 3 hemp regions. They're going to need different strains. They have, we're growing a lot right now, and I would tell you that something grows in Colorado, you bring it to Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, wherever you move it, it's not going to grow. Hemp is very, very specific with the strains. Even the things we were growing in Colorado 5-6 years ago, we were getting our seeds originally from Europe, and we were taking mother plants, creating new seeds, and after 2 or 3 years of the seed adapting to the high altitude, it was creating the THC level went from 0.2 to 0.6. So
why would anybody care?
Well, because the federal law is 0.3 in the United States, so 0.3% THC. If it's anything over that, you have to burn the crop. And when we burned 230 acres of hemp, we realized that we need to do something different. We went back to our scientists and they said, go back to the original seeds. So we just planted with original seeds. We didn't create, our own cultivars. Then we went into tissue culture. Tissue culture gives you the ability to have an entire crop that's exactly the same height, exactly the same pounds per plant, because they're genetically identical. They're not like a mother plant cutting, which is actually like a brother and sister. Okay, your brother can be 6 feet tall and, you can be 5 feet tall.
Now, Derek, you have your grow. How do you maintain consistency over time? Because it sounds to me like it would evolve even if it's in perfect soil in your high desert. So you must have to watch it all the time because maybe it's going to start getting higher, and I guess we could call it hotter over time. Let's say that happens. Do you guys have I don't want you to get into proprietary stuff, but is there a way to address hot hemp so that we could still utilize it and not burn it? Maybe Manny's the guy, but I'll ask you first, Derek.
Yeah, well, the way we're currently protecting our genetics is actually through cloning. And it's not I don't think it will ultimately be the best process, but right now it's the best that we have available to us. So we do grow through clones, but we also do have a small section of the farm reserved for proprietary genetics that our VP of Agriculture and our agricultural team have either outsourced or that we have done some breeding of our own. So, we're always kind of testing new cultivars and new plant types to ensure that next year we're going to either be able to maintain the quality that we had this year, or we're going to increase our yield or increase the ratio of some of these smaller cannabinoids like CBN or CBG or some of these terpenes that are really starting to come to fruition. So we have a couple of different things that we do. And I mean, it's super important because ultimately that's where your quality really is based in.
I think that the most important thing that you sell is quality and consistency. I want to take a quick break, and then I'm going to talk about the future of the hemp business in the state of Florida and why we think that it's going to create a whole bunch of jobs. Derek, I hope you can stay with us because you're going to be, I would think, one of the big employers coming up here in the state. And I know Manny's got some opinions too, and I know a whole lot of people watching care about jobs. So we'll be right back after this, and we're going to talk about cannabis and hemp as a job creator and driver for the economy in the future. Back after this, you guys, you better stick around for this. This is some great stuff coming up. Hi, everybody. We're South Florida's longest running business talk show. Been at it since 2008. I still haven't gotten it right, so we're going to keep going. I want to give a shout out to all the first responders, healthcare heroes, and people that put their lives on the line. That's right, the lady at McDonald's, too. Everybody that's out there trying to save us from this dystopian reality that we're dealing with. A great place to go, the cleanest place I know, is Warren Henry. Those people are crazy about clean. Especially my friend May Stark, who runs the service over there for me. Hey, everybody, when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry, Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar here at 151st and Biscayne. Down in the Keys, we've got a great store that carries everything. I'm going to look for a Jeep down there. Up in Gainesville, they've got Audis. Oh, I want to get that little Audi sports car for $1.50. It's just tremendous. Everybody, what do they all have in common? They're all great cars. They all make you a Warren Henry family member as well. They come with the Warren Henry Advantage. The Warren Henry Advantage is a complimentary service loaner, dynamic wheel protection, key replacement. I got to get my key. I got to get my battery fixed, actually. My key thing is going off. I'm going to go see them. Guaranteed purchase offer, best value guarantee, and, of course, a 72-hour exchange. You take 3 days to decide whether you like your car or not. Let me tell you, you will. I have a whole bunch of friends that buy there. My mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian, my loving wife, Vivian, and me. I've been a client of theirs for many, many years. So why? Because it's a family. Remember, always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry.
This is Becca Carlson from Carlson Integrated. A lot of our clients find that they can do anything, but not really everything. We are always excited to jump in and help. So whether you need another set of hands for a project or even comprehensive marketing management, our team of marketing mavens would love to have a conversation with you to see if we are the right fit. We do everything from logo and design work to email outreach and social media to writing and thought leadership. And here's a fun one. We are now offering our fabulous ebook of top 10 marketing tips on our website for free. So head over to carlsonintegrated.com and grab a copy today. And please always let us know how we can help. My email is Becca, that's BEKAH, at carlsonintegrated.com. That's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com.
Oh, yeah, just getting social here, everybody. Thank you to Manny Johnson and Derek for joining us today. Here, give me a call, 305-773-6300, because I can help you with your real estate deal. I'm helping lots of friends with their residential mortgages, and I'm helping even more with bridge loans, financing for condos, apartments, retail, office, industrial, you name it, I got cash. Fresh money from New York rings my phone every day. Let's use it, gang. Call me at 305-773-6300. Big deals, small deals, I'll help you. Why call me? Because when you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
All right, we're back. We're back with Manny Johnson, my favorite agronomist, and Derek Thomas, my favorite marketing guy for hemp and cannabis products. Derek is a senior executive with Veritas Farms, and we've been talking about the purity of their product. We've been talking about how my wife and I use it to maintain our sanity and our wellness. And we talked with Dr. Michelle Weiner earlier about how she loves prescribing their products. So welcome back to the show, guys. This is our last segment. And I want to talk about the future of hemp and cannabis in the state of Florida. Particularly, I want to talk about how we're going to use it to create jobs. Okay? There's all kinds of jobs, from the person that sells you the thing in the cannabis store to the person that's growing the hemp in the field. Manny, I want to start with you. What can we expect from a perspective here in Florida about new jobs? Where can we expect new jobs, and how many jobs are they going to be? Will they be good jobs? Tell me.
Well, one of the things we've been talking about with hemp is, the CBD type products, the cannabidiol products that Veritas sells so efficiently and professionally. But there's a whole nother spectrum here with hemp. Hemp is, you can make hempcrete, a concrete substitute that has an RH factor 15 times greater than concrete. Plus, concrete is one of the biggest polluters of the environment. Hempcrete is not. You can make a wood product that is exactly a wood out of the bast cells. That's the fiber cells of the hemp plant. You can make a drywall. You can make insulation. The two largest hemp growers in Germany are BMW and Audi, and they're doing that to create a plastic substitute for the plastic in their cars. There are literally thousands of uses for hemp. The biodegradable part of it is that's just the perfect part, because we won't have plastic in the environment anymore. Okay, so you look at jobs, housing is huge. Okay, you can build a house out of hemp, and they're doing that in Colorado. I know there's one hemp house in Florida, which I have gone to and I've seen, but I mean, there's communities in Colorado of hemp houses. Okay, those are jobs. The Florida citrus industry, which was the largest, Florida citrus was everything. Okay, well, then we had citrus greening and citrus canker. That wiped out Florida citrus, okay? Then you have the cattle industry, which is having a very, very difficult time too. And then growing any types of plants in Florida right now. I don't know of, I'm a 30-year professional nurseryman in Florida, and I don't know of, Home Depot, Lowe's, stores like that now. People aren't going in there to buy landscaping plants. They're not going in there to buy pretty plants for the indoor of their house. They're going in there to buy the necessities, because they don't have the expendable money. So I see, hemp creating jobs in the farming industry. We have land. We've got plenty of land. We got good soil. We've got experienced farmers. And we've got a minority program, too, in Florida that you get benefits from using. So I think we're going to create a lot of jobs.
Derek, how many jobs are there at your farm out in Colorado?
Year-round, between the farm and our facility in Aurora, which is where we manufacture and warehouse and fulfill, we've got about 100 full-time jobs. But seasonally, that can swell to up to close to 200 jobs.
Wow, that's tremendous. And we talked seasonally, and I'm going to use that to pivot a little bit because I got Derek on here to talk about hemp and cannabis and jobs. But I also want to give them a chance to talk about their latest product offering into the market, their holiday kit. What's different about your holiday kit that the daily stuff? What's different about your holiday offerings?
Well, the most exciting thing about our holiday offering, it's the flavor. So it's 4 really fun, really tasty tinctures that, what you see in the marketplace, it's kind of status quo across the board. You have every company has an unflavored tincture. And then there's kind of a mix there. Some are doing like a mint chocolate. We're doing a peppermint.
That's peppermint right there. That's the peppermint right there.
And our peppermint is our best-selling flavor. There's a citrus. Some are doing a watermelon, and there's these kind of core flavor portfolios across the industry. And what we did for the holidays was we came out with 4 holiday flavored tinctures, where the flavors are really geared around those typical types of holiday flavors and ingredients and aromas that you.
What are the flavors?
Oh, so the flavors are. So I'll start with the sugar plum. It's sweet. It's a little tangy. It's kind of crisp and delicious. We have a cranberry orange, which it's kind of sweet and sour. Really, really balanced kind of flavor portfolio. My favorite by far. And when I got the samples of these, I'm not even being facetious when I say that instead of using the dropper, I just drank it out of the bottle.
No way.
Cinnamon roll.
Cinnamon roll?
It tastes like a bun fresh out of the oven. No calories, of course. No added sugar. It is just phenomenal. We have a really, really limited supply of those. I think there's about 25 left on the website. It has been mentioned in Forbes, in Reader's Digest. It's just been a heck of a product for us to come out with this holiday season. So really fun, really exciting. And I would buy it just for the cinnamon roll. It's that good.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, we're going to have to get your scientist on now to talk about all that. Manny, I want to bounce back to you because we're talking about products. We're talking about products that taste good. That gets me towards edibles. I know that you have an edibles business. Let's just call it spade a spade. What's the dangers of edibles? Because now they're coming out. People are getting candies, gummies. Hold on. Nope, didn't grab it. But I got my gummies right next to me here in the refrigerator. So what's dangerous about gummies? Because it seems everybody's selling them now.
Well, we get back to the same thing about regulations, and we get back to testing, and we get back to, I can speak about Florida's medical marijuana program very well. I have a team that has worked on licenses in 15 different states. Every state's different. Florida, within 1 year after you get your cultivation license for a medical marijuana treatment center, you have to prove that you can pass a food safety inspection, like a kitchen, for a restaurant. And within that, you're supposed to be testing every batch of product that you're creating. It's not happening. I've gotten samples from the MMTCs that I visit, and I've sent them off for testing, and they're not.
You need a card to get the sample? Gotta out them.
Actually, I've gone into dispensaries and not even used a medical card. Positively have.
Listen, we all know that this is still the Wild West. We also know that there are firms like Veritas Farms that are trying to create a lane that commercial transactions can occur, where we can have normal business. I think that, I have the state of Florida Capitol up behind me today as my background. I think that the state of Florida is going to lead the way. I know that they're trying to surround themselves with experts and take their opinion. I know that I'm helping the Department of Agriculture to do that. Derek, we only have a couple of minutes left. Can you leave us with the future of Veritas Farms that leaves it open for when you're going to come on next month too? I already am figuring that. I didn't come on again next month. Sorry, man.
Yeah, it's, I guess, 2 things that we're really excited about. One is I would say the continued growth in chain retail. That's so it's so important for the category. that's really where the mainstream consumer feels like they can trust products that they see. You know that if you can find a product on the shelf at CVS or Kroger or Publix, where we have distribution with, that those retailers have done their due diligence into the brands that they're carrying. So I think 2021, you're going to see the continued growth of that. At some point, the FDA is going to have to come out with guidance. You're really going to see the explosion of CBD in chain retail after that, which, that's, again, it's just absolutely crucial for kind of the next phase for the industry. For Veritas specifically, and I'll share much more about this in detail with you next time, we're really excited about our functional line of tinctures. So think sleep tincture or morning tincture. So that's kind of all I can tease about that for now. But we're going to have products with specific cannabinoid and terpene ratios geared towards that functionality. Topicals.
That's great, because I take this in the morning and I do it at night. And it's replaced a bunch of over-the-counter stuff that I used to use. And it's replacing also some prescription stuff. So I want to thank you and the industry for really looking out for the wellness of people, and especially Veritas, which I investigated. It took a year for you to get on the show. It did. They kept knocking, and I was waiting. Manny was the one that was the doorman, okay? And we let you on because Manny told me you're top of the line, and you passed those tests. Manny, I'm going to leave it to you. We've only got about a minute left. Derek, you're coming back. You know that. We're family at this point. So is Manny. Manny, I love you. I want to thank you so much for coming on and being a guardian for the state of Florida and the wellness for the people. Derek, what you don't know is Manny's marketed his products to all those places you mentioned. Maybe we'll get you together and you can work with Manny and do your distribution. But the real thing is that we're all coming together for wellness. I want to thank Dr. Michelle Weiner for being on, talking about how she applies it in her pain management practice. I want to thank Derek Thomas and Duray Ross. Do I say that right, Duray? How does she say it?
Duray.
Duray. Thank you. I was fishing. Thank you. Duray, I'm so sorry. We'll get it right next time. And Manny Johnson, thank you for having an easy name.
You're welcome.
Manny will be back. Derek will be back. I'll be back. Dr. Michelle will be back. Look for your knowledge here. We're creating a content vault that'll have good ideas for you. Wellness, happiness, kindness is on the way. Derek and his team are formulating the terpenes. Manny's going to make sure it's pure, and me and Regan are going to make sure you hear about it. So thank you, everybody, for this edition of Freed on Weed. Derek, God bless you. And God bless all the things you're trying to accomplish for the wellness of America. Manny, I just love you, plain and simple, man. Thank you for being there every day to keep me spiritually grounded. Reagan, thank you so much for taking me out on the shoot today and helping me make lives better every day. This is Jim Freed for Freed on Business. I'm going to open up the close now. I want to give a shout out to all the first responders and all the people that help every day. There's so many people. We're all in this together, and people, wear your masks. Thank you to our sponsors, Warren Henry Automotive, Creco AI, the NFL Alumni Association, Carlson Integrated. I want to thank the Bertram Center for Real Estate Studies. I want to thank Veritas for putting on Derek today, too. They're tremendous. We'll call them the sponsor today. And go to our Facebook page, all our social stuff. We'll have this up on YouTube. It's a great place to watch, everybody. Join our community, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, everything. Snapchat. No, I'm not doing that, but I am doing TikTok. Anyway, if you missed today's show, it'll be up on Twitter immediately. On LinkedIn immediately. We'll have the TV show version that Reagan makes look like Miami Vice a little later today or tomorrow up on YouTube. This is Jim Freed for Freed on Business. Look for us on 8:80 a.m. next Wednesday at noon when we have our year-end overview of the economy. Casey Conway, Tom Handler, Nick Banks. It's going to be tremendous. Charles Ficini. I never get his name right. He's going to kill me. Anyway, remember, the person wants to do something finds a way. Yeah. The person that doesn't finds an excuse. Now go out there and make it happen. God bless you. God bless America. I'm out of here.